Illinois lands top Ohio recruit Victor Singleton. Obviously, his recruiting varies from place to place and stuff like that, but this is one of the best players in the state of Ohio. I follow Ohio State recruiting very closely, so it's very easy for Ohio State fans to say here like Ohio State cooled on him. I hate when people say that, even though when there is some truth to it, like at the end of the day, you really don't want to lose any of your players from your state, top tier players from your state to other schools, especially Big Ten schools. So I think this is a fantastic ad for Illinois. I think that Illinois had the opportunity here to kind of take a shot across the barrel. What I will say, even if this isn't, a hurt, against Ohio State, this is a hurt against Michigan. Michigan wanted Victor Singleton very bad. I don't know what the NIL offer was like or anything like that, but I know Michigan really wanted Victor Singleton. The fact is, Victor Singleton wanted to go play for Illinois, and I think it's a testament to Illinois marketing themselves, probably having some better NIL as well, probably some more funding for the football program as they've seen more success. That's kind of how that happens there. But an underrated part of this Illinois team under Brett Bielema and Aaron Henry is they're fantastic at developing DBs, safeties, quarterbacks. Like they do a fantastic job of that. When Ryan Walters left, a lot of people thought Ryan Walters was the one that did that. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Ryan Walters. Ryan Walters did do a good job. But Aaron Henry was the one who, if you ask, people kind of on the inside, like he was the one that was working with Devin Witherspoon and some of those other guys the most. And really, Ryan Walters kind of got the credit for it. And Aaron Henry, nationally at least, didn't really get that credit for it. Now, I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to disparage Ryan Walters. Ryan Walters still, I think he's going to do a good job at Washington. I think he's more of a defense coordinator than a head coach right now. I think that's obvious. But as far as I'm concerned, like, this is a huge ad for Illinois. And I think this is speaking to the fact that recruits and other people out there nationally are starting to recognize it wasn't just Ryan Walters at Illinois. It was Aaron Henry. It was the development. It was a lot more going into getting these players ready for the next level and being essentially a DB factory that's not a top tier program yet in college football.
Yeah, and I think we talked a lot about Indiana being maybe better but having a worse record. Illinois might be better and have a better record. And like Singleton is probably not going to play in this, but I think this recruit, this ability to pull this off, I think is speaking to the fact that Brett Bielema is truly building something special in Champaign. He's got the core, like he was able to re-recruit his guys to come back all on that offensive line, Altmaier, a lot of the defensive pieces on the back end. And this, I think the fact you're able to go into Ohio, beat other Big Ten teams. Now they're going to have to fight to keep him. A lot of people are saying, well, he's going to flip. I wouldn't assume that. I would not assume that at all. Just because money talks does not mean it talks louder than development for a lot of these players. And Illinois obviously was able to offer him something, and they can offer him something a lot of schools can't, which is we can get you to the NFL. We can make you a top 3 round pick. Look, like a lot of schools can't do the look, right? Illinois can. Over the past 4 years, ever since Bielema has been there, they are producing NFL draft picks, high NFL draft picks in that defensive back end. And so, and they, with Michigan, they can sell the uncertainty. With Ohio State, they can sell like, hey, you're going to get on the field pretty quickly. And then they can sell to every other Big Ten team. Are they going to get you in the league any faster? No. So I just think Illinois is in great position with Singleton. It matters that they're the leaders in the clubhouse now. I get it. 10 months. We'll see. But I think it's big. And I think Illinois is going to have the type of season that you're going to actually see more recruiting momentum than anything else. Because you look at their schedule, somebody said 10-2. Listen, 11-1 or 12-0 is not out of the question either.
Yeah. They get Ohio State middle, kind of middle of there. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I said it in one of my videos. I'm gonna pick Ohio State to win that game. I'm not like unless Ohio State, barring like a terrible collapse, I'm gonna pick Ohio State to win that game. But still an away game. Like it's still an Illinois team that if they're undefeated by that time, they could be really hot. Like this isn't Indiana coming to Ohio State where it's going to be a huge raucous crowd and it's going to really affect the offensive line. I still think Ohio State obviously has better talent and they should win that game, but like don't put it past Brett, like or Bert, sorry. He's going to give him a good game at the very least.
Yeah. Well,
So
and to that, just remember, like someone put it, they're physical in the trenches. They, I mean, they went toe to toe with we make fun of the SEC, but that South Carolina team was good. They beat
it's
them.
one of the best defensive lines in the SEC.
Yeah, and they went blow for blow with them, right? They are a really good team. They bring back most of their lines. I mean, you look at the schedule. Ohio State's going to be their toughest game, and then at Indiana.
It's either at Indiana or at Washington. I'd say at Indiana, but Washington does have a very good home field advantage, and we'll see what that Washington team turns into next year. But I tend to lean at Indiana there as the harder one. Yeah, 11-1 is not out of the question at all
No.
for Illinois. 12-0. It's kind of like we talked about Rutgers last year. Could Rutgers go 9-3? It's like, well, yeah, they can. I don't know if I'm going to pick it, but they can. Kind of the same thing here. Like, you know, nobody's going to laugh at 12-0 for Illinois. At least nobody who knows what's going on in Big Ten football is going to laugh at 12-0 for Illinois.
Desmond Howard will laugh at 12-0.
Desmond Howard doesn't know anything that's going on anywhere.
We know that's why I said that.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so I think the other part of this here is like, the is he going to flip conversation that, obviously there are people in the chat talking about that, Fisherman and other people. And I think that there is a chance here that he does flip to somewhere else, but there's also just the chance here that I forget who Illinois fans said, but the coach on their staff was one of the very first people to offer him, and Illinois is willing to kind of play the recruiting game that Victor Singleton wants to play. The hope for some programs is that eventually he gets away from that, but you also look at this Illinois program, you can come in and play early, you're going to get solid development, and you're going to compete in the Big Ten and be a double-digit win team, possibly, the few years that you're there. Mm-hmm. So you look at it, it's not completely out of the question that he would stick with Illinois. Is there a chance that he flips and goes somewhere else? Sure. Yeah. Michigan can offer a bag that's bigger than what Illinois offers. Ohio State can come in and, start really trying to tout things up and make themselves look better. You never know what an SEC school can do. Oregon could always come in at some point and try to do something. There's always a chance. Corey Parker. Thank you, Sonny. There's always a chance. But I wouldn't say it's for sure. Yeah. I think Victor Singleton chose Illinois because Illinois not just, was willing to play the game with him, but there are other factors there, personal factors there as well, like Corey Parker offering early that really made a difference on him. So I think that's huge for Illinois. I think it speaks to their development, and I think that if Illinois' defensive backs have another good year this year, Xavier Scott and those dudes back there, like you're going to see more top DBs in the nation looking at possibly going to Illinois.
Yep.
So really good stuff for Illinois. We'll see. I'm sure we'll talk about it more. We might not talk about it much during the season just because it's a lot to try and do recruiting and everything else. But yeah, we'll see.